Imagine this. You're riding through traffic, feeling confident, maybe even untouchable. The engine roars, you weave through cars, and you think, I've got this. But let me tell you something harsh. Most riders don't realize that the exact thing they believe makes them look skilled is the very thing that puts them one slip away from a hospital bed or worse. See, traffic is not just a bunch of vehicles moving in random directions. It's a living, breathing trap. Every car, every bus, every distracted driver holding a phone is a ticking time bomb waiting for a rider like you. And here's the ugly truth. Riders don't usually get taken out by speed. They get taken out by tiny mistakes in traffic. Mistakes so common, so ordinary, that you won't even notice them until you're lying on the ground asking yourself, how did that happen? And here's where it gets even scarier. Most riders think they're too smart for this. They think mistakes only happen to other people. But studies, crash reports, and real-world experience all prove one thing. Traffic doesn't forgive arrogance. It doesn't care if you've been riding for 2 weeks or 20 years. The moment you do one of these mistakes, traffic punishes you. That's why this video isn't entertainment, it's survival. Because once I show you the shocking mistakes riders still keep making in traffic, you're going to see them everywhere. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. You'll start noticing how 90% of riders around you are riding blind, setting themselves up for disaster without even knowing it. And in that moment, you'll have two choices. Either join them in ignorance, or use this knowledge to ride like someone who refuses to be another statistic. So, pay very close attention, because what I'm about to reveal isn't just advice, it's a wake-up call. And once you hear it, you'll never look at riding in traffic the same way again. Mistake number 1, tailgating in traffic. Let's start with the single most suicidal habit riders keep repeating: riding too close to the car in front of them. You'd think it's harmless. After all, the car is moving, you're moving, what could go wrong? But traffic is unpredictable. That driver ahead of you could slam the brakes without warning. Maybe a kid runs across the road. Maybe another driver cuts them off. Or maybe they're just texting and panic stop out of nowhere. If you're glued to their bumper, you're finished. Here's the psychological trap. Most riders tailgate because they're impatient. They think being closer means they'll move faster. But ask yourself, what's faster? Gaining half a second in traffic,
or spending 6 months recovering from shattered legs? The truth is, tailgating doesn't save you time. It steals your safety margin. And once that margin is gone, you have no control left. The most manipulative part is this: car drivers don't see you when you're that close. You're in their blind spot, hidden in the shadows of their mirrors. Which means when they brake hard, they won't even know you existed until they hear the thud of your crash. Riding too close is not just risky, it's gambling with your own invisibility. And traffic always wins. Mistake number 2, lane splitting without strategy. Now let's talk about lane splitting. Everyone's guilty of it. Sliding between cars, feeling like you're cheating the system, dodging the lines of traffic while everyone else sits still. But here's the brutal truth. Lane splitting without a strategy is basically volunteering to be crushed. Think about it. Every car door is a loaded gun. Every driver stuck in traffic is frustrated, distracted, impatient. They're changing lanes without looking, opening doors without warning, and you, riding between them like a target, are the softest thing in their path. Riders make the mistake of thinking lane splitting is about speed. Wrong. It's about timing and positioning. If you're splitting at high speed, you've already lost. If you're splitting between trucks and buses, you're invisible. And if you're splitting without constantly scanning mirrors, front wheels, and driver behavior, you're riding blind. The shocking part is, most riders don't even realize they're not in control. They think, I can handle it. No, you can't handle a car door opening at 40 kilometers per hour. No reflex on Earth can save you from that. So the manipulation here is simple. Lane splitting is a survival game, not a shortcut. And only the riders who understand that difference live long enough to keep playing. Mistake number 3, trusting indicators and drivers. This one's deadly because it tricks you into a false sense of security. A car ahead signals left, and you think, all right, they're turning. I'll pass on the right. Wrong. That indicator means nothing. Drivers forget to turn it off, hit it by mistake, or worse. They don't signal at all when they actually do turn. Here's the uncomfortable fact. If you trust drivers in traffic, you're giving your life away. You're handing them the power to decide whether you live or die. And do you think a distracted driver with their phone glued to their face cares about you? Number, they don't even know you exist. The manipulation you need to absorb is this. Never trust what a driver says with their lights. Trust what they show with their actions. Watch the front wheels, because wheels don't lie. If they're turning, you'll see it before the indicator even blinks. Trust the body language of the car. Is it drifting, slowing, angling? That's the truth. Everything else is just noise. Once you learn this, traffic changes. You stop being another naive rider, hoping drivers follow the rules, and you start reading them like an open book. And that's how you stay alive. Mistake number 4, ignoring escape routes. Here's something few riders ever think about. Where will you go when things go wrong? Because in traffic, things will go wrong. A car cuts you off. A bus swerves. A pedestrian jumps out. You don't have time to think. You only have time to react. And if you've given yourself no escape route, your only option is impact. Most riders ride as if the road belongs to them, like they can just own their lane and everything will work out. But here's the manipulation. The road never belongs to you. It belongs to chaos. And if you're not riding with an exit plan, you're a prisoner of that chaos. Smart riders always scan for space. They know exactly where they'll swerve if the car ahead slams the brakes. They know which gap they'll use if someone cuts across. They're not just riding, they're calculating. And the shocking truth is, that tiny calculation is the difference between a close call and a crash that ends your riding career forever. So, if you ride without escape routes, traffic owns you. If you ride with them, you own traffic. Mistake number 5, riding like everyone else. This is the deadliest mistake of all, riding like an average rider. Copying what everyone else does in traffic. Following too closely, lane splitting recklessly, trusting signals, daydreaming. And guess what? Average riders end up where average riders always end up, on the ground. Here's the manipulative truth. Traffic doesn't care how confident you are. It doesn't care how expensive your bike is. It doesn't care if you've ridden for decades. It only rewards riders who ride differently. The riders who slow down when everyone else is rushing. The riders who stay unpredictable instead of blending in. The riders who think like predators, not like prey. If you ride like the herd, you die like the herd. But if you ride like someone who refuses to repeat the shocking mistakes others make every single day, you don't just survive traffic, you dominate it. So now you know the 5 mistakes riders keep making in traffic. And here's the scary part. Once you've heard them, you can't unhear them. Every time you're on the road, you'll start spotting riders tailgating, splitting recklessly, trusting blinkers, riding blind with no escape, and you'll realize they're literally gambling their lives away. But let me flip this back on you. Be honest. Which of these mistakes have you been guilty of? Don't lie, because we've all done at least one. Some of you are brave enough to admit it, and others will swear they're perfect riders, even while committing mistake number 3 tomorrow morning. Drop your answer in the comments, because I want to see how many of you are actually self-aware riders, and how many of you are the ones traffic is just waiting to punish. And if you've never made a single one of these mistakes, Congratulations! You're either the safest rider alive or the best liar in the comments section.